In light of last week's disastrous debate for President Biden, many in the Democratic Party leadership and media are in a panic. The rush is on to find a way to tempt Biden to drop out of the race and replace him with someone more competent. Many think this replacement could be former First Lady Michelle Obama. And as the possibility of a Michelle Obama presidency grows next year, what would that look like for the state of Israel? Stay tuned to find out. I'm Ben, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome back to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. So Joe Biden had a disastrous debate last week. In a follow-up poll after the debate, 72% of registered voters said that they thought that Biden was unfit physically to stand for a second term. Those are not good numbers for President Biden in the least bit. Needless to say, the Democratic Party is in a bit of a panic to try to figure out what to do. November is very quickly approaching. The calls are mounting for Biden to withdraw his name from the ticket in November. If that happens, there will have to be a replacement. And begs the question, who would that be? Kamala Harris would be the obvious choice as vice president underneath Joe Biden for the Democratic Party to throw their name behind. But the problem is that Harris is even less popular than Biden. Oddly enough, her poll numbers are even lower than Joe Biden. So if they were to replace Kamala Harris with someone else, who would that be? Rumors are circulating that Michelle Obama may throw her name in the match. And if that happened, according to a Reuters poll that was just released this last week, matching up Michelle Obama to Trump in a presidential ticket in November, Michelle Obama would take 50% of the vote to Trump's 38%. So according to this one poll, it's early on in the election, so it doesn't mean a whole lot. But the possibility stands that Michelle Obama is very popular, and if she was on a ticket against Trump, she could take victory. Obviously, there's a lot of hypotheticals as of this point. But if Michelle Obama were to take the presidency in November, what would that look like for the state of Israel? The obvious place we have to start is her husband's presidency, his 8 years, and how he stood for the nation of Israel. Early in his first term, Obama made a speech in Cairo. He laid out his vision for relations between the West and the Islamic world. In that speech, Barack Obama said he believed that the West had sinned against the Muslim world through colonialism and racism, and the West needed to make amends. He quoted the Quran several times and praised Islam for their amazing contributions to the world. Obviously, this laid the groundwork for Barack Obama's presidency. We saw the results of the speech played out over the next 7 years of his presidency. Barack Obama maintained that the Jews were given back the land of Israel, or were given the land of Israel, not because it was their historic national homeland, but simply as a consolation prize for going through the events of the Holocaust. He maintained that Palestinians were victims, the products of the West's colonialism. Over and over again, Obama undermined Israel's efforts to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. He said he didn't have any ideological problems with Hamas, only that he believed that they should not use violence to achieve their goals. He publicly humiliated Bibi Netanyahu on multiple occasions. He constantly pushed for his two-state solution, enacting building freezes in Judea and Samaria that stretched on for very long lengths of time. He constantly hamstrung Israel's actions and demanded that they submit to Hamas in a ceasefire in Israel's Operation Protective Edge back in 2014. A similar kind of situation that Israel's in right now, fighting Hamas again in Gaza back in 2014. He very much undermined that effort and pushed for a ceasefire on multiple occasions. He constantly pushed for a two-state solution in Judea and Samaria and insisted that Israel withdraw from historic Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, as well. He greatly weakened the brave pioneers in Judea and Samaria by enacting his building freezes and by his open hostility against Judea and Samaria and Israel's right to settle their historic homeland there. As a side note on that topic, if you want to help the brave pioneers of Judea and Samaria and not undermine them as Barack Obama did, if you want to help strengthen the brave pioneers of Judea and Samaria, I think that you should check out our friends at Blessed by Israel. Israel's been at war now for over 8 months, which has taken a big toll on the economy. Businesses are struggling and prices are rising. With Blessed by Israel, you have the opportunity to step up and invest in small businesses and families in Israel by purchasing their wonderful products. When you shop at blessedbyisrael.com, that's blessedbyisrael.com, you're getting more than awesome olive oil, tea and honey, cosmetics, and many other great products. You're sending vital reinforcements to Israel to keep strong. So head over to blessedbyisrael.com to enjoy wonderful products and make your crucial investment in the families and small businesses of Israel. Use code INVEST for $5 off your first order. But I digress. To continue Obama's record at the UN, he stabbed Israel in the back by abstaining from voting in the UN Security Council's resolution that demanded Israel stop settlement construction. He did, though, support Israel militarily when it most counted, when Israel needed it most. He did provide military aid to Israel. He provided other aid when Israel had an out-of-control forest fire in the Carmel as well. But overall, his attitude was begrudging towards Israel and often openly hostile. He treated Israel like they were an annoyance, not an ally or a partner. So that's Barack Obama's record. For Michelle's part, after October 7th, she purposely avoided ever condemning the mass rape of Israeli women by Hamas and the other atrocities that were committed by Hamas in Israel. Even when confronted with direct evidence by Israeli officials who specifically asked her to use her position of influence to condemn the mass harassment and sexual assault and rape of women in Israel by Hamas, and when she was specifically presented with personal evidence that they gave her of these atrocities, she completely ignored it. Absolute silence came from Michelle Obama when presented with all this evidence and asked for her to use her position of influence to condemn Hamas. Mika Youssef, a producer on Michelle's podcast, wrote recently on social media, "The more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm realizing, and I think a lot of other people are too, that these reports and statements about rape and murder of babies are completely unverified. They actually feed into Islamophobic tropes, and we're not talking about at all." Even with Barack Obama's, Michelle's husband, even with his strained relationship with Israel, he did visit the state of Israel officially in 2013, but Michelle did not bother to join him. She didn't come at all. It was kind of unexpected. She just didn't show up. I think it's safe to say that the way Barack Obama treated Israel during his 8 years in the White House, cold and often hostile, under a hypothetical Michelle Obama presidency would only continue. Guys, don't forget to check out our friends at Blessed by Israel. The link is down in the description below. As always, stop listening to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what is happening in Israel.